enjoyed part 1 of my virtual Stampin' Up! Workshop. This is part 2. I'm going to begin with a few of the 2013 celebration products that are available until March 22nd, 2013. And in the brochure, I've already shared this little area here with you in part 1, but I wanted to show you, even though I worked with a few of these papers, I wanted to show you a small little sample of what they look like. Of course, if you end up receiving them, they're 12 by 12 sheets of paper and they're double-sided. So you get these patterns. Sometimes it helps to see them a little bit larger size, or kind of as close to as in person as we can get you. And then this is the other side. Nice bright cheery colors. If you're familiar with Stampin' Up!, you'll recognize the names of the cardstock colors, or all the colors in the color collections, but they explain it in the celebration brochure. They're Island Indigo, Pool Party, Rich Razzleberry, Sahara Sand, Summer Starfruit, Tangerine Tango, and then Whisper White, of course. And I will show you the Madison Avenue set. I ended up getting the wood mount. So this is the Madison Avenue. And then this is the ribbons that come with it also. Depending on how much you order, you can get the whole bundle. But if you just spend $50, you'll be able to choose one item from this brochure. So these are the 3 ribbon colors, and those do come in one set. You get 3 altogether. So I thought that you'd like to see those. And then this Bloomin' Marvelous stamp set I just started working with, and it's really a cool stamp set. They're small enough that you can layer them behind things, and I'm really having fun working with them. So this is what they look like. I ordered the clear mount. You can get them in wood mount. The only one that I've used so far is this one, but I was practicing just by holding them up, and I think I'm going to have fun with this. What I use this for is on the project that I'm kind of going to share the technique with today, so I'll show you that in just a moment. And then I have this that I wanted to share with you. This is the Happy Hello, and it comes in a package. I've taken the plastic off already, the wrapping, but you get an instruction sheet, and then you get twine and some rhinestones and 2 pages of, they're like a heavy cardstock, not quite a full chipboard, but that is what they've used to layer all of these flowers here. And then of course you get the envelopes. So this is what the envelopes look like. You would fold your flap, obviously. And then these are the pre-scored and pre-printed and pre-cut cards. And so I just thought that might be helpful for you to see before you make your choices, if you place an order, what some of the things look like in person. So let me set this aside for just a second. I wanted to show you, this is the card that I made using the Secret Garden stamp set. And I used 2 of the images. I used this image for the large flower, and then I used this image for this background panel here. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this large flower, but the technique is the same. After I made this panel, then I laid this down and I ran it through my Big Shot, and that's the panel that I came up with. So just so that you can see what those look like, they're the Edgelits Adorning Accents. Then I also used my Framelits Labels collection, and that is a framelit, the small one, and I used that to cut this out. So that's a little view of that. And what I'm going to do is use the matching framelits for the Secret Garden stamp set. And when the other ones I've already opened, you get instructions on how to use them. And basically, you're just making a sandwich with the cutting plates and running them through your Big Shot. You're probably already familiar with that. If not, you get instructions. And I'll be happy to do a video for anyone that might, like to learn how to do that. And these are what you get in the set, and they coordinate with your Secret Garden stamp set. And I used this one to cut this flower out. So I'm going to start setting up for this technique, and I'll show you. It is a very simple technique, even though it doesn't look like it. The results are amazing. Alrighty, I'm going to open up my clear block caddy, and I wanted to let you know that you can get a bundle of the clear blocks, or you can buy them separately. And as you can see, I have not purchased all of mine yet. I will need to use the flower image from that Secret Garden stamp set, and obviously it would have worked perfectly with this size block, but I don't have that size block. So I just wanted to share with you, you can either try to fit it on something that will work, so that long one will work, or you can go into a larger block that's even all the way around. It really doesn't matter. It's more what you're comfortable with. So I'm going to choose this one right in there. This is the letter E size block. I like how tight these fit because they're not going to flop around with you, but they loosen up just a little bit so you don't struggle with them after you take them out a few times. And this block I don't use that often. So it's going to be mounted exactly the same way as I've shown you in part 1. And to make this, I'm going to just take a small piece of crumb cake cardstock, plain crumb cake cardstock, and I'm going to use my embossing buddy because we're going to emboss that flower edging design. So I'm going to rub it across. If you've not embossed before, I really don't want you to feel alarmed. It's not as hard of a process as you might have heard. Okay, I'm going to use the Versamark Watermark stamp pad. This one's certainly been used many times. And if the stamp pad is smaller, I usually will flip my stamp over, and I will put the stamp pad and ink it up this way. And this is more of a moist, sticky type of ink, almost like a gluey feeling. So you want to make sure that you get that completely covered. That is what's going to allow your embossing powder to adhere. And seeing I'm just doing a sample, it doesn't really matter at this point where I stamp it. And you just stamp it down. And you want to give it firm pressure. And it might stick to your cardstock, so I tend to hold on to my cardstock before I lift up. And you won't see very much of an image, but it is there. And you'll notice it right away as soon as you pour on your embossing powder. I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper that I folded in half. And I'm going to take Pool Party embossing powder, and I'm going to sprinkle it on. And be generous because you're going to pour most of it back into the jar. You want to get good coverage. And just tap it off. And because of the embossing buddy, you'll see that I do not have any additional particles sticking around. Well, I might have a couple here, but it's not too bad. You can leave them on there. It's kind of a nice look, to be honest with you. You don't need everything to be perfect, but you can brush it off. If there's a couple little ones in here, I could take a paintbrush and kind of lightly just brush it off, but I'm going to leave it that way for you. And then what I'm going to do is pour this back in. And I'm going to seal it back up. Alright, now I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to run it around. You don't want it to stay on this powder too long because it'll absorb into the paper. You want it to melt and stay on the top. So just turn your gun on and keep moving it and you will see that it will raise up and get kind of shiny, hence the embossing look. And I apologize for the noise. It won't take too long to do this image. You can already see it starting to change. And it's done. Hopefully you can see the shine. And that's what we're looking for. Let it cool for a minute. It doesn't stay warm for very long. And the next thing that I'm going to do is sponge some white craft ink onto the edge of this. So I use my craft ink for this because it's a pigment ink. Open it the same way as you do the other. And then I use a sponge, and I'll show you what I do with my sponges. We have sponges from Stampin' Up, and I like to take mine and I'll cut them in half. You can either quarter them or you can cut them in half and then do thirds like a pie, 3 on each side, and get 6 out of that. So you can kind of see how I cut that. If you imagine a line coming down, I cut this so this would be a 6th. This one I cut, and that's the quarter. So it depends on the size of sponge you like to have. I tend to use smaller areas with my sponges, so I really think the 1/6 of the sponge size works for me. And you just dab it on, and I go very lightly at first, and really what I'm doing is trying to color the inside, and you can see already by using the crumb cake cardstock that I want a soft look, but I'm basically going on the inside of my flower, but at the same time I do want a little bit on the outside edge. We're not trying to stay inside the lines on this. That gives that nice soft glow. And you'll see, let me bring my sample back for you, that is exactly what I did on this background area here. You can see some of the regular color crumb cake coming through, and you can kind of see that soft white ink around the edge, and that is what I'm doing right now. So just continue on. I like to let it soak in a little bit and dry. Craft ink takes a little bit longer to dry than the normal classic water-based ink. So because of time, I'm going to, instead of letting it just sit out for a few minutes, I'm going to hit it with the heat gun again and let that dry faster. That way the next step, the ink won't smear. But if you're doing it at home, of course, you can just leave it, go do something else for a few minutes and come back. Or do a bunch of them, and then if you keep it in the same order, they'll already be dry for you. So let me hit this with the heat gun. I don't want to get it too warm because I don't want that embossing powder to melt. Alright, now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sponge dauber, and I'm going to take Pool Party ink, and I'm also going to use Midnight Muse. These are the classic water-based inks. And I start with the lighter color first. And I take my sponge dauber and I just lightly tap it on. And I want to use a light touch on this. And I'm going to go from the inside out, but I really don't want to go to the farthest outside. I still want that white effect to show. So I'm just going to lightly go around it. Let me pull back, and I think you can see how the ink is going on. And really I'm staying more toward the inside. You can go back and forth if you want to blend it a little bit. Play around with it. It looks nice no matter what way you do it. You might come up with your own idea. Just starting off with this idea and come up with a new technique. You can share it with everyone. So I go back and forth a couple of times, stand back a little bit from it, look at it, decide, do I want more? No, I think it looks good that way because I can see my white halo effect on the outside edges. I can see this Pool Party color here, and then it's really going to pop when I put the Midnight Muse right in the middle. And the darkest color I put in the middle, Try to keep them in the same color family if you can. If you think you have too much ink and you're not sure, you think it's going to be too dark, you can always dab it on here first on a side piece of paper, and then just a very light touch at first, and you can see how that builds up. And I don't go out super far, just a little bit, just to make that really deep center focal point. And you can kind of see, again, if I pull this back in, that that's the look that I'm getting there. Now you can tell I've made that darker. So what I do is I let it dry for a moment, and then I'll go back in and I'll push a little harder. And the more you push and play around with it, the more you can get it to blend out. That's why I really like the sponge daubers. I have a lot of control when I use them. I save these and I know which colors I've used, so I'll keep like all the blues together, and you can even mark them on the edges, and they come in quite a few in a set, so they're really nice to have. I can never get enough of those either. I think I'm addicted to some of these things. And then I just take my finger, but if you want to use a tissue or something else, if you rub over the top lightly, you'll remove any of the ink that may have colored the top of that original embossing powder. You can see how it brightened up just a little bit there. And so that's how I got this flower. I added a little bit of the dahlia center, and they came in the in colors. And then I took the framelits that I showed you earlier, and you just place that over your image, and you can tell how it's going to line up. That does not work. You just keep rotating it around until you get what works the best for that shape. And there you go, that fits. And you center it, and you make your sandwich with your cutting plates and run it through your Big Shot. And that's how you end up getting a nice image like that. So that's how I did that technique. I hope you like it. I hope you have fun trying it out. And let me know. Send me an email because I'd love to know if you like this technique. So I want to just go over a couple of really quick things, and then we're pretty much done with the video. I just wanted to share with you that Secret Garden set is in the catalog, the spring catalog that's available right now. I don't know if this set will be in the new idea book and catalog when they release it over the summer, so I just wanted to make you aware, and you can get the bundle with the framelits and the Secret Garden, and you get a price break on that if you buy two together. So just wanted to mention that for anybody that was interested in that. And then our idea book and catalog, it's just a really great catalog to have because there's so many samples in there. So if you are having a problem with what do I come up with here, I'm not having any luck being creative today, you can just look in the catalog, and they have tons of samples in here. And I save them for years and keep going back. You can never go wrong with some of the samples that they show you in these beautiful pictures. So the book is basic. The table of contents is right on page 1, and it's broken down. You don't need me to walk you through everything. Just the kids or youthful type stamps will be in the growing up flags with the same color, and elements and so on. Then you have your papers, so any of the purple, or I should say, I think that's probably Rich Razzleberry. They obviously are using the Stampin' Up! Colors in there. And this is my favorite area because it's all the great collections that you have. And, for example, the in color, this center is the in color dahlias. And so that's what I used. And that's what that does look like. And it's a nice dimensional little, it sticks up quite a bit. So I was impressed when I got them that they're very substantial. And so that's a little bit of the catalog. If you do want to order the catalog, it's item number 129855. They're $5. It's well worth $5 to get just ideas. And you can keep them and keep using them over and over again, as I said. If you have any questions, I'll also have my email address on this video, so you can just pop me a quick question and I can help you through any ordering questions you might have. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you're interested in being what I'm calling a virtual hostess, it's very simple. Really, now with the new Hostess Codes, you can invite anyone. I'm a U.S. demonstrator, so anybody that you know friend, family, or let someone else invite somebody else to your virtual workshop. If you're being a hostess, it can be throughout the whole United States. That one special code that I will create for you can be used throughout the whole United States with people, and it's much easier to do that. If you have friends and family far away and you can't invite them to an actual in-home workshop, it's hard to get them to participate. And this way, they can participate. I'm going to do two options for you. You can just do an online catalog little virtual workshop where basically if you contact me and tell me you would like to be a hostess, I will give you the hostess code. We'll figure out a date when you want to get that to start, and then all you do is just send out information to the friends you want to invite, and it's open for 30 days for them to order under you as their hostess, and then you get the hostess rewards. And that's a really easy way to get wonderful Stampin' Up! Products. If you would like, besides just the catalog piece of it, because that's available online through my demonstrator website, just go on the product tab and it's listed under there under catalogs. You can also let me know if you want me to do a specific video for you, and I'll create a video just like I've done here for myself for the hostess video. And I can create a video for you if you have an idea of something you'd like to learn about or something you'd like to show some of your guests. Let me know, give me some ideas, and we can work through the email, and I can get you something set up that I hopefully will really enjoy. So this was basically done to give you an example of what is Stampin' Up's making available for all their customers now. It's a little bit easier to have the hostess code, and hopefully you'll try it out. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. If you'd like to place an order with me and just get some product and not interested in being a hostess, then let me know. Check my Facebook page. I will have the new hostess code listed here, and you can go ahead and feel free to order and browse my demonstrator website. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye for now.